Hello everyone, I am Queen from chapters 1 and 2. And this time around in chapter 4, I'm so excited to hear what the new queens have to say. Stay tuned.
How y'all doing today? It's Kyle Jacko checking in from the ATL. Hope you're having a beautiful, amazing, blessed day. But whenever you see this right here, you know it's time for the Queens to rock. I hope you had a good time watching Queen Series Chapter 3 last year. But this is the Queen Series Chapter 4, where on the Queen Series, the only thing we do, we are honoring amazing, strong queens. And these queens is queens I know off of Clubhouse, off of Instagram. They're doing a lot of great things, but we have to honor them because think about it, everybody. You got it because of the queen. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a spotlight on all the queens I know. So right now I have Miss Kai coming to the stage. Miss Kai is somebody that does great, amazing things, not just on Clubhouse that she be on a lot, but she does it everywhere. Had to get you, Miss Kai. She does it everywhere. So right now, Miss Kai, let them know who you are, Queen.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate being here. I am Naleighna Kai, and I help others who have finally found the courage and the strength to tell their truth and share their stories, whether it's through memoirs, self-help, or fiction. I was adopted by my biological mother, and the physical abuse was exponential, compounded by the fact that my father did not respect my right to say no, and my uncle did not respect my right to say no. So my literary career started 23 years ago when I put my pain and healing on the page, and that page became my passion, and now the passion is my purpose. I am a USA Today and Essence Magazine international best-selling author of 36 books, an Amazon influencer, a literary agent who lands traditional book deals with publishing houses such as Simon & Schuster, Harlequin, and Macmillan. I am a developmental editor, a ghostwriter, publishing consultant, and the book whisperer, the person you come to when you're thinking about writing and publishing a book, and I will actually help you to do the damn thing. Once again, my name is Naleighna Kai, and I believe everyone has a story to tell. I'm just one of the people who can help you to tell it well.
See, y'all thought I didn't know that many strong queens. I'm telling you, I know a lot of them. That's how the Queen Series works the way it has to work. Why do you think you only get one Queen Series a year? Because I'm telling you, I know a lot of people, they ain't doing TikTok. They doing something else. That's amazing. With that being said, Queen, my next question to you, what is your description of a strong queen?
For me, it is one who is resilient, resourceful, one that is strong, one that is courageous, one who has overcome the darkness and believes in the light.
Okay. We got another question. And this question, some friends and family members might get kind of mad because I want you to name one or two queens, say their name, that had just a major influence on your life.
Okay, so earlier in my intro, I explained to you that I was adopted by my biological mother, and she signed into the hospital as her sister, and she turned me over to my aunt. So my aunt mother raised me for the first 18 months of my life. And then she killed the man who killed her husband. And I landed back where my biological mother never wanted me to be. She gave me to someone who could love me because I'm actually a product of one of the worst things that could happen to a woman. So she didn't want that reminder. But now I was back in her home. And here's how things get interesting. I swallowed some type of household cleaner and I ended up in the hospital. And in order to get medical care for me, my biological mother had to go before the judge and tell what she had done at my birth. And so in that, to rectify what had happened, I was adopted by my biological mother. But at that time, she was in a relationship with another woman, and that woman became my other mother, and she protected me as much as she could from my mother, my biological mother's abuse, even staying in the relationship far longer than she needed to stay in that relationship that was healthy for her. It was unhealthy for her, but she stayed there to protect me. Unfortunately, the time that she did try to tip away is when my father did what he did, and she came back to help and be there for my healing. So it would be my other mother, Sandy Spears. She's here in Chicago. And then the other person would be the woman that helped me to heal from the sexual abuse and some of the childhood trauma. Her name is Reverend Renee Sesfala Cobb Dishman. She's here in Chicago. She was my my boss. I worked at a social service agency. She was my boss first. She became my sexual abuse counselor once she found out my story. Then she became my minister. She's my pastor, and now she's my best friend. She is the reason why I have a writing career, because it's part of my healing. When I said I put my pain on the page, when I started writing, I didn't grow up saying I wanted to be an author, but when I started writing, it was so much of it longhand. I wrote 6 novels within a 2-year period just to get that part of the pain out of me. And she encouraged me to write. And that is what started my writing career, was my healing process.
I just had to just pause for a moment because I tell people, when God has something on your life, he will make sure that he puts the right people around you. So
Yeah.
shouts out to everybody that's in your life. Shouts out to them 2 queens. Shout them out. Okay, now I like playing games. I love playing games. Like I really do. You hear me on Clubhouse. I'm always got power. I love playing games all the time. So right now we're gonna do something. It's called the word play. On the word play, I'm gonna say 3 words, and then I want you to go in detail and tell me what those words mean to you.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
ready.
What I'm gonna use is I'm gonna use Chicago. When I say Chicago, what comes to your mind?
Italian Fiesta Pizza, Garrett's Popcorn, Harold's Chicken. Oh.
Came my mind with JJ's.
Yeah, JJ's isn't good as good as Harold's. I'm sorry. Harold's Chicken is it.
I tried Harold's one time, but I like JJ's because I see what JJ, they don't change their grease as much. So
Yeah, I'm just saying. But you didn't go to 87th Street. That was the best Harold's Chicken. I'm just saying.
yeah, I couldn't drive my 18 wheeler down there, so it wasn't gonna work that way. Because I went to Chicago when I drove 18 wheeler, so I went to Chicago a lot of times. And Chicago is very beautiful, except when it starts snowing. When it starts snowing,
It's a
it's
wrap.
no fun. Yes, it's no fun.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one, oh, I love this one. You gonna love this. I know you're gonna love it. When I say the word author, what comes to your mind?
My son, the accidental author. He didn't grow up saying he wanted to be one either, but he was 15 years old and he wrote a 7-page English assignment. It was a scary story. All the other students wrote Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger kind of stuff. And my son said that wouldn't be what frightened him. What would frighten him is to have to kill one parent to protect another. That 7-page assignment scared the teachers so bad. They brought me up to school. The police were there. The principal, the superintendent, all of them were in that office because he wrote it in first person and they thought it was reflective of what was going on in my home at that time. Now, my thing is, it kind of was, but it really wasn't. It was fiction, but his emotions and what he felt, we were living in hiding at that time. We were protecting a friend from a domestic violence situation where the husband had tried to kill her. And I changed my name, changed my son's name. We changed where we lived, my job, everything. And I moved him from the school that he was in to the suburbs, and he lost interest in school. But I had told him, if he took 1 year out of his life and he wrote that book, it would change his life. And let me tell you, just like when Noah told God, when God told Noah that if you build an ark, it's going to save you and your family, that one instruction to my son, he took 1 year out of his life and he wrote that book, and it did change the trajectory of his life. I put him in another school, and it was run by a Black principal, Helen Hawkins, and she was amazing. Changed his dynamics by calling him Scholar Woodson, and it was Scholar Jones or Scholar. Changed the thought process and the dynamics. And then she also took them on a college tour of all the HBCUs in the South. And he had 2 copies of his book in his possession at the time. And he gave one to the admissions director of Fisk University and another to the admissions director of Alabama A&M. Both of those men, even though he went to about, I think, 12 to 15 schools in that tour, those 2 men cycled back into his life at 2 different times. And they furthered his educational journey. One of them gave him brought him down to Fisk University for the Talented 10th celebration. And my son got to speak. And afterwards, they gave him a 4-year academic scholarship to Fisk University, which is where he wanted to go. Out of all of the schools that he attended, went to on that college tour, he wanted to go to Fisk. But here's where that is dynamic. For a full year, my son claimed, "Thank you, Lord, my college costs are paid in full at little or no cost to me and my mother." He said that for a full year. Because let me tell you, his grades, especially when I had put him in that school in the suburbs, his grades didn't say he was going to go to college. I didn't see it, but he held to that. He held to that. And being in this new school where they were calling him a scholar, he changed his whole dynamic. He was pulling down those A's and B's. He was pulling them down. Wasn't doing that first 2 years. Now, let me tell you, that's what was warranted to get that scholarship, but he got that scholarship. And he went to Fisk University. And later on, when he took a downturn and he ended up with a job and had lost the job and had to come back to Chicago, that second guy who was at Alabama A&M came to one of my events in Chicago, the Cavalcade of Authors. And he walked in and he remembered my son from all those many years ago. And he hugged my son. And I said, "My son would like to go back to school." And at that time, the man was at South Carolina State. He was at Alabama A&M when my son gave him the book. But now he was at South Carolina State. 3 months later, my son was on his way to South Carolina to finish his education. So take a year out of your life to write this book and it will change your life. And it did. It got him a 4-year academic scholarship to Fisk, got him a book deal with Simon & Schuster, which is a traditional publishing house. And his second book landed him an NAACP Image Award nomination. Now, he just wrote about that in a book that he released this past Tuesday, Wisdom, Blessings from Imperfection. So it's, when you say author, I think J.L. Woodson. That book shows the trajectory of his life from 15 years old to now and how everything lined up in divine order for him to achieve his goals. Even when he failed at something, it was still a setup for him to succeed at something else.
Shouts out to your son. That's all that I got to say. Shouts out to your son completely. I got one other word for you.
Okay.
The other word I got for you is when I say locks. What comes to your mind when I say locks?
Strength. I have sister locks, and it took a lot before I was in the beginning stages. I was still wearing a wig over it because I was not liking the way they looked. And I thought because I was in the corporate world that I would not be accepted. And when I finally one day I said, "You know what? It is what it is." And I took the wig off, weave off, wig, everything. And I started wearing my natural hair. I got more compliments on my natural hair than I had on anything else. All my fears were my own fears. When I started projecting that I loved me and I loved my hair and the way I looked, yeah, best decision I could have ever made.
I love that because when I first saw you on Club, I saw your locks and I was like, I love her locks. And that's one thing about me. I've been growing mine for 6 years now, and my locks, they
are
just
beautiful.
grow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Like, matter of fact, the queen that's opening up for the Queen series, that's my lock ambassador. She's been doing my hair for 6 years. So yeah, this right, my hair comes way longer than this. She
You
done
have
up
to
for,
cut it.
she
Yep,
done
I get
re-out
mine
for the
cut
Queen
too.
series. No, I
Yeah,
don't
you
cut.
got, no?
She got they're like 2-strand twist. So
Okay.
she's 2-stranded. So they look short, but they really, really long. But they heavy. They really
Yeah.
heavy. So I try to do it. But I love your lock stuff. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, on this blueprint that we had, they have a queen that was on this blueprint. And this queen name is D. Ross. D. Ross is somebody that's very, very amazing in my life. I've been knowing her now about 6, 7 years. And I want you to explain to the people why they should watch the video and what you took away from the video.
She is absolutely amazing. She is a cosmetologist who is 100% blind, later in life blind, in the sense that she wasn't born that way. So she had the gift of sight and she lost it along the way. And in losing her sight, she also lost some of her friends and support system because she now had this health challenge that they couldn't seem to wrap their mind around. But she had the strength and the courage to move forward and go into a career where, you really need to see what you're doing, but not really. She feels what she's doing. And I think that is so amazing that her support system is Dorothy Ross and Lily Mae Ross, and those people really hold her together, and that she feels that a strong woman is someone who keeps the faith in God and always gives God the praise. And I'm sure that that was hard when she first had the challenge. I'm sure she couldn't find the good in that at first, but as it went along, she had to accept and say, you know what, God, I'm still here, and I'm going to do whatever you have purposed for me to do. I find her absolutely amazing. D. Ross, I tip my crown to her.
Love that. D, I told you everybody love you, even though you got a big head. Everybody love you. I promise they do. They do. Yes,
See,
that's my sister. I could joke with her. I could joke with her. I joke with her like that all the time. So I can
that's
do
just
that.
me.
But my next one is, what would you like queens to take away from watching your video?
I would hope that they learn. There's two instances that I've given that we didn't grow up saying that my son or we didn't grow up saying we wanted to be authors, and we fell into this and it became a passion and a purpose for us. That if there's anyone there who has a story within them, it's your time to tell it. There's something that you have been through. There's some challenge that you've overcome, that somebody's going through it right now. Now, they may have read any other spiritual books or self-help books, and it didn't do for them like your words will do for them. So you need to put your journey, your challenges on paper for other people to read and just be amazed at what you've done, but also they can grow. Well, if she's done it, I can do it too. And you're not so out of reach. You're not so here that they can't see that I can make it. So put your words on paper. It's time. Don't let you leave this earth without leaving your legacy of your strength. You know, we're still reading text from the Bible that was written how many thousands of years ago, and text from even the Harlem Renaissance and other places. Those things live on. What are you going to leave behind?
Okay. Love that. So any queens right now that see this, you loving this, remember her description is at the bottom. You hit the link and you can reach out to her on any social media platform and see how can you do it. Like I said, one thing about this Queen series, it don't give you everything about the queens. It breaks it down to a small portion, and it's up to you to go out there and do what you have to do no matter what. And with that being said, I got something that I do on the Queen series. Last year was a motivational prayer, but this year I do something where it's a Queen's prayer. So Queen, go ahead and pray for the queens out there.
All right, Mother, Father, God, we come before you to say thank you for making the crooked ways straight. We thank you for opening doors of opportunity faster than we can walk through them, and that we are living on the prayers of our ancestors who prayed, I just want my children to be free and my children's children to be free. And now we are free to live in your divine guidance and your divine path for us. And we can live our purpose, and that we can achieve the things that we're supposed to achieve on this planet at this time in our lives. That you said you come that we might have life and we might have it more abundantly. So I pray for the abundance for all of my queens and even my kings, that the kings that support those queens, that the abundance is overflowing wherever it is, in the checking accounts, the savings accounts, the Crown Royal bags, under the mattress, in the freezer, in the tin can where the buttons used to reside, wherever the money is hiding or residing, that you bless it to overflowing, that the resources and the people are there before we even need them, and that we move in wisdom, that we are creating generational wealth and not generational excuses, that we break the bonds and chains of poverty and know that we can live abundantly, because you said the blessings of the Lord makes me rich and adds no sorrows with it, that we teach our children and our children's children that we can have the cattle on 1,000 hills and the mansions, all of it belongs to us, and that we listen to your divine guidance and that still small voice that guides us along the path, and that you protect us and our family and our extended family and all of those who support us on this journey. We ask that you cover them with grace and mercy, and that you give the queens the strength and the resilience, the courage, the strength, everything that is needed to carry on. This is Naleighna Kai, Lord, and I thank you. Thank you for hearing this prayer and request, and so it is.
Amen. So, Queen, I want you to give the queens right now like a motivational message to uplift them for 2022. You got the mic.
All right. This one quote has changed my life, and it's from Jim Rohn. If you work hard for someone else, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. That right there helped me to compare that I'm working for a law firm, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. But if I lean in, not if I, when I lean in to working for myself 40 hours per month, I would make the same amount of money. So what is keeping me rooted was the idea. My mother worked a 9 to 5 and she retired at 30 or whatever. And then she said she was going to do everything when she retired. And she only lived 2 years into retirement and didn't get to do 1/100th of what she wanted to do. Even though I knew this, I was still on that path. So I had to change my trajectory. And also teaching my son. He broke that chain early. I'm still in the process of making that shift and that dynamic by working on myself and hustling and getting in what I need to do to live this literary life totally. And it's my passion, and my passion that will pay me, because passion doesn't pay the bills. So if you work hard for someone else, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Queen. I have to sign you up when I get ready to do my next motivation conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll let you come on out here and speak to them for me.
All right now.
Okay, Queen. Yes, we have to do that for real. Call ourselves the Lock Twins. Get me locked up together. So they have a thing that I do on the Queen series. I'm gonna get to that, but hey, if you didn't go down there, look what she's doing right now. I don't know why you waiting. You should like go do that right now. Like do it and come back up again. But we got a thing that we do on the Queen series. And what we do, I'm gonna say something. I need you to help me with it. So when I said, I want you to say the same thing. Cool?
Cool.
Okay. The first thing I'm gonna tell you, just right here, theme of it is live strong.
Live strong.
Live like a queen.
Live like a queen.
Got kind of scared, right? You kind of scared me a little bit. Live with glory and a smile.
Live with glory and a smile.
All that I can do is clap. This queen right here is amazing. Make sure you watch her video, you send it everywhere, and just make sure you stay around because we got a lot more queens to go. Yes, about 30. So get ready. Got a lot of them. My name is Kyle Jacko, signing out. Peace.